Hey traders, Nick here on Wednesday 3/23 doing an update video on a video I just shared a couple of days ago about ZIM. So I was alerting people about the possibility of losses out of the blue, not because of the stock price fall, although the next day it did fall tremendously, but of the debit call spread situation. If you know options and you had an options bullish trade and you were winning, you could have still lost money if you didn't close your win before that dip. Because on ex-div day, you would wake up owning a position that is short the stock. They will exercise you on the short call part of the debit call spread, and then you would end up owning cash out of your account, which is a pretty disappointing scenario. You win on the trade and you end up losing thousands because you paid dividends to somebody. This doesn't happen often because stocks don't often pay $17 in dividends, which means they have the incentive to exercise you even if your short call was up here because it's $17. Anyway, hopefully it didn't happen to you. So this video today is to give you the playground for the next few days, how to trade this beast. So disclosures first. I was not familiar with the stock until one of my members actually told me about it. So I've been covering it since then, and I went long, and I told them how I went long with a call, and then I sold a couple of calls against it into diagonals, and then I booked it the day before the drop. Check that. I booked it on Friday. Didn't nail the exact top, but sure came darn close. So where did I book it? 318. So somewhere in here I closed it. So happy with the results. Now, if I wanted to invest in it, I'm going to give you the bad news first, but it's not bad news because I'm going to explain it. I wouldn't personally invest in it, not trade it, invest in it. I can trade it any minute of every day, but to invest in it like a starter position until it comes down to the low 60s. If it doesn't come down there, fine, I'll miss it. There are plenty of other stocks. I always put it from the perspective, if my 90-year-old mother wanted to invest in a stock, would I take her into that one? No, not at these levels. And it's not because it's not a good company, because it's just not stable yet. This was a major top in 21, and then another major failure twice. And then they took their time. They broke out, revisited footing, and then busted out. Revisited footing one more time, and then busted out. So let me share with you the good news as to what levels are important support-wise. But first, I want to point out this one candle right there. First of all, this is a daily chart, nothing fancy, right? And just keeping it simple. That's what most people look at. But this is an important candle to note. It gives me a playground. So take note of these values, 72 and change, and then the upper end of 77.5. This range, in one day, the stock opened here. They loved it all the way up to here. They hated it all the way down to here twice. And then they came back and closed it exactly, complete indecision. It's not a coincidence. Look left, top. Look left, top. So this is a spot they care about, specifically this line right there, 75. Now look at this. That's where it kind of bounced on a huge drop, which everybody saw coming. I can't believe somebody got caught long in there. But now they're bouncing. So is it going back to the moon? Personally, I think this is going to be extremely difficult to fill. I mean, we had the tailwind of $17 carrot out here. That carrot is gone. So it's going to be extremely difficult to fill. Maybe they crack into it to 80. I'd be shocked if they fill the whole thing. Positively speaking, let's think positively, I should say. All right, that's not enough information for shorter term traders. Let me give you some other information that how I see things. Now, this is the same chart. I changed it to 1 hour candles. So every 8 of these is basically a day trade, a trading day. This is the bad day, yesterday, and it fell to a place where I expected them to hold. So now I hold them accountable to it. So any drops below 73.5, 73, 74, 73.5, below this, if they lose this, they will accelerate the selling and overshoot down to here, where they will have extremely strong support. Now, if I'm a trader, I would try to buy into here and exit immediately if it fails, because if this fails, I don't know where they're going to stop. I know the target can be here, so I will wait for better input. as a trader. I'm not saying it's failing. I'm just saying if this fails and I got long, I would stop out. So now the new box is right here, this one. So these edges are triggers. This edge is a trigger. Again, if this triggers, you better book your profits pretty quickly, because I think 82 will fail. I don't think they fill the whole gap. Personal opinion. That part is opinion, not fact. Fact, there are sellers lurking here. That's a fact. Fact, there are buyers lurking here. So those two are facts. There are buyers lurking at 72. That's a fact. And another fact that's pretty darn important, somewhere around $69 for this period of time, that is where they loved the stock the most. So the second spot they loved it the most is right here. So now the battle is between two high volume points, right here and right here. If one is lost, they go whoop, straight to the second one. So these are points you need to pay attention to. In other words, if this fails down to here and you're short, that's where you cover your short. That's what I would do. If somebody's looking to get long and doesn't do anything until the stock comes down here and they bought a long position here, they're thinking right, because chances are they're going to find support against this. So the trade is, the investment is, find your entry point. I told you mine. The trades are today and tomorrow. I gave you the lines to watch. One, you can count on 74 to 73.5, 73.8 support. If that fails, the bears will overshoot lower. They do have support, the bulls, but I think they will come down to the low 60s. Now, conversely, the opportunity lies if the bulls can breach 79. If they can, then the goal, they will try to fill the gap. I think they will trip at 80, at most 82. So if you do take longs, know that this is where I would be selling if I were long. I am not long. I'm not anymore. I closed my position. What was my position? It was a call, and then the stock rallied, and then I sold a couple of calls against them in 2 different weeks. So I was long for like 3 weeks. And I sold a call. It died in my favor. I sold another call. It kind of died in my favor. And then I closed the whole thing. So I ended up with 2 diagonals, and happy as clams with the results as a trade. I wasn't investing in it because I would never invest in a stock that's broken into all-time highs like this. The P&L is solid. There's no fundamental reason to short the stock. Everything I commented in here has been on charts, just to basically give you, this is what I do for my members all day, every day, sharing my screens live. So they've seen this conversation so many times, they've traded it accordingly. They were all ready for the dip, and nobody got caught long. I can guarantee you that. So 260 people were totally ready for it because they're watching my screen all day, every day. Leave a comment if you want, or if you think I said something wrong. I don't mind debating. In fact, I do welcome the comments, because I like to learn something new. So if I missed the point about this stock, please educate me so I can incorporate it in my future videos. And give it a like if you want to, or a dislike, whichever. Is that other button called the dislike or a hate? There should be a hate button. I dislike it, meh, or hate. And also subscribe to the channel if you don't already. All right, later.